What happens when you're in a relationship with a female and you get to a point where you lose your ability to endure the frustration? You give in to your masculine energy and you lash out. What happens when you get to that point? I think, as we all know, a woman will push a man right to the edge. A woman will throw temper tantrums. She will lash out within the relationship. And as a man, you're caught in this loop and you don't see it when it's happening because you're too busy trying to fix that situation. You're too busy trying to make it all better. And that's what I found myself in, is this loop of trying to make everything better, trying to calm the woman down, trying to give her what she wants. So this is just basically a short story of the first time when I experienced losing control of myself in that moment of frustration, just losing control. I think more or less the reason why I want to tell this story is because you're not going to win. You're not going to one up the female within a relationship. The average female is like dead set on breaking you down over time, and you're not going to be able to one up that. You're not going to be able to keep piling on that burden, keep dealing with that frustration. Sooner or later, you're going to have to release your masculine energy. So this story happened about maybe 10 or 12 years ago. I was in a relationship that lasted maybe 4 years. And we started off one day. We planned this beautiful day. We woke up really early. We went to a fair. It was like an agricultural fair. It was a huge fair. And we had to wake up early because it was like 3 hours just to drive there. So 6 hours total there and back home. So we left real early. Everything was good all day long. We get to the fair. There's tons of people there. Hard to find parking. We're at the fair for maybe 5 or 6 hours. It's a full day. So everything's all good. I financed the whole trip, gas money, money for the event, money for food, everything. And we decided, we had enough, so we was getting tired, so we decided to go home. And maybe halfway home, I'm starting to get really tired. I need a break. I'm doing all the driving, and I'm starting to get hungry too. Let's stop somewhere and get something to eat and take a break so we can both kind of rest. So I found this pizza place, and I stopped, and basically she threw a little fit, and she stayed in the car, and she had this thing where she would throw these mini temper tantrums, and she would give me the silent treatment to show me that she was mad and upset. And I really needed a break. I really needed to stop. So I went inside and ordered the pizza, and I'm waiting around. And I come back out to the car, and I try to make her happy again, to try to make her come in and eat the pizza, or just at least come inside with me. She wouldn't, so she was sitting out in the car and pouting over what? I don't know. It just came out of the blue. So I got upset, paid for the pizza, and I brought it out to the car, and it was a hot day, and we had to have the air conditioning on, and I didn't want to sit there and eat pizza in the car, so I said, fuck it. So I just started to drive home, and she could tell I was upset, and she goes, why aren't you eating your pizza? And I said, well, I'm upset, and I said, I don't want to eat it right now. So we get maybe a mile or two down the road, and she just could see that I was fuming mad, and she kind of escalated the situation. She started shoving the pizza in my face and wanting me to take a bite. So I'm sitting here driving a standard, driving a stick shift, going through the gears and trying to push a slice of pizza out of my face. And I was starting to get really upset, when cars are driving by in the other lane. I'm swerving a little bit, and she puts this hot pizza box right in my lap. And, she's just trying to get a rouse out of me. And I just couldn't take it anymore. And I got so mad in that moment that I flipped out, and I rolled down my window. While the window's trying to roll down all the way, I grab the pizza and I try to throw it out the window, but it went all on the inside of the windshield, and half of it went out the window. And I grabbed the bottle of soda and I threw that out the window, and I grabbed the box and I threw it out the window. So I'm throwing all this food out the window. Half of it's going all through on the inside of my car. This hot cheese and pizza sauce all over the steering wheel. And I'm fucking swearing. I'm going off. She's yelling. And I just slam on the brakes and I pull over into the ditch. And she wasn't wearing her seatbelt at the time. And she goes crashing into the dashboard there. She banged her knee and she's starting to cry. And I'm upset. I'm swearing. I'm telling her to get the fuck out of the car. And I just have tunnel vision. Like telling this story right now, I'm like starting to like relive it a little bit, you know. I was literally shaking uncontrollably. And I couldn't see. I started to feel like I was going to black out. And she actually got out of the car. And, you know, I'm just sitting there fuming mad, swearing. So by the time I calmed down, which was 3 to 5 minutes later, I'm wiping pizza sauce off my steering wheel, off the inside of the windshield, the best I could. And I look up and she's not there anymore. She's not outside the vehicle. She's not down the road. She's not up the road. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, where did she go? So I sit there for another few minutes. I'm collecting my thoughts. I'm starting to be concerned for her. Like, where is she? So I drive back to where we came from, and she's not there. And there's no way she could have made it a mile or two down the road. It hasn't been that long. It's only been 3 to 5 minutes. So I go straight and I drive further down the road and I get to an intersection. I'm like, wow, there's really no way she could have made it this far without me seeing her. I'm like, did she hitchhike with somebody? You know, where the hell she go? And I'm scared. You know, I'm really concerned where she is. We're still like an hour and a half away from home in the middle of nowhere. So I finally drove up this one spot where I haven't checked yet. It was this dirt road leading into a field that you couldn't see the field from the road. And I drove up there, and there she was standing in the field with her arms crossed, pouting. And I was just so relieved that I found her. And now she's the victim, you see. Now she has something to complain about. And it took me a half an hour to get her to get into the car. The crying, it was just a big scene. And now I feel sorry for her. And we drove home, and I don't remember the rest. But in that moment, that woman got me so frustrated, so angry, that I released that masculine energy, and I just was ready to basically get out of my car and fucking throw my car into the woods. I was so mad. I've never felt that feeling before of losing control. So this is just another scenario that more than likely could happen to any man at any time. I mean, you read the newspaper, the local section, there's always a guy in there being arrested for domestic violence, but you don't hear about the story of the woman on that man for years, frustrating him for years. You don't hear about that story. And all of a sudden, all you hear about is just that man lashing out, that man just losing control. So if there was a moral to this story or anything, more or less, you're not going to be able to one-up the woman all the time, every time. There's going to be that point where you're going to be so frustrated that you're going to lose control. And thank God nothing happened other than I lost a pizza and my car was covered in pizza sauce.